out here today. This was happening when you get the AC championship.
You guys defensively, Duke game you didn't play to your standard. Coach Chiswick had said gave up a lot of yards, but you were also up huge in that game. It seemed like the state game kind of went in a similar fashion. Do you guys think you're playing well enough at the end of the year to take on the challenge you're going to have and matching up with that kind of offense this week?
Definitely. I mean, at times we are. And I go back to the second half of the Duke game, the second half of the Miami game, and even at some points in the NC State game, we haven't played well enough at times. You know, we've done a good job of getting turnovers. That's one of the things Coach Chiswick always stresses. But I think in those three games, for example, we let a catastrophic play in each of them. A long touchdown run or pass. So those are the things we got to get corrected, especially playing the #1 team in the nation. We can't have those mental lapses. So we're gonna have a great week of practice and be ready to play on Saturday.
How much do you know about Clemson yet, and how much have you seen from them throughout the year, here and there?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched them a couple of times throughout the year, but yesterday we really started our focus on Clemson. I mean, first of all, they're the #1 team in the country for a reason. They have a dynamic quarterback, and we played against them last year, so we're familiar with what they try to do. They got playmakers all over the field, and it's going to be the biggest test for the year. So we're excited for the opportunity. As a competitor and as an athlete, you want to play the best team, and to be the best, you got to beat the best, and that's if we're trying to be the best team, then they're in our way, and that's what we got to do.
What do you remember especially about Watson last year? That was his first start.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did against them.
Yeah, I think he threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. So that's the first thing that resonates in my mind, and they scored 50+ points. So they're definitely an explosive offense, but we're definitely a new defense as well. He was a freshman, but he was poised beyond his years. He's very mature for his age, and I mean he is a great player. That's why he's up for the Heisman, obviously. So we're gonna have to play a great game on defense to shut him down.
You see similarities between him and Marquise, just in terms of how
definitely. I mean, they're just dynamic playmakers that can run and throw the ball. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two, and it helps that we've faced a guy like Marquise, all throughout spring, summer, and fall camp. So that definitely helps us.
Coach Chiswick had talked about too when you're playing with a big lead that he wants you guys to play the same, whether you're up big or keep that same approach. But Coach Fedora told us a little bit earlier that he told Coach Chiswick to be conservative defensively because you guys were protecting the lead. Do you think you guys have played with these big leads you've had in these 3 games in November the same, I guess, the way you have all year defensively, or has it been different when you're playing with that huge lead?
We played a little differently each game. NC State game, for example, we're up 21 in the second half, trying to run out the clock just to preserve the victory. And Coach Chiswick I don't think he called one blitz in the second half. It was just we're just going to play our base coverages and bleed the clock out and get the victory. And he told us that yesterday. But at the end of the day, we got the victory, and that's all that matters.
What's it like being the underdog, and y'all embrace that? What's the mentality coming in as an underdog?
Yeah, I mean, we've been the underdog all year, I think. No one's really paid attention to us, and we're okay with that. We're excited for this opportunity. We're not looking at it as an underdog, really. We're the coastal winner, and they're the Atlantic winner. So, 2 great teams going to go at it on Saturday.
What do you remember about just the locker room environment after the South Carolina game? That's come up this season a few times with us, but specifically like who talked and what the message was and kind of how the team came together.
Yeah, I kind of brought the guys together right when we first got in the locker room, and just some guys' heads were down, and as they should have been. But I just told the guys, look, we're gonna get back to Charlotte in December, and we've been talking about that even all throughout the off season. We had our spring game in Charlotte, and we were talking about how we're gonna play in Charlotte 3 times this year: our spring game, the opener against South Carolina, and then the ACC championship. So that was kind of our motto all throughout the year. And so right after the loss, I just brought the guys together real quickly and said that. And I think Landon and Quee said a few words. And then Coach Fedora brought the team up and told us that all our goals were still intact. This game was kind of a measuring stick of where we were. And so let's just go back to work tomorrow.
When you give a talk like
tell if it's resonating with guys, or are you kind of hoping, like, I really hope this sinks in, or can you see some indication from them that like they're getting it, or are they whooping and hollering, or I guess what's the reaction like?
I mean, you can tell in facial expressions and stuff, but really the next couple of days is when you can tell if it really resonated. And it did, because the next day when we came into the football stadium, no one was hanging their heads. It was, positivity, and especially Marquise. He was upbeat and positive as ever, because he knew that how good of a football team we can become. And if we just go back to work, then we'll get those mistakes correct.
How difficult has the last 2 years been before this great season you guys have had? There's been, NCAA things. It hasn't been, struggles defensively. It hasn't been an easy road during your career to get to this point. How challenging has that been these last few years?
It's been challenging, but I think that's what makes the season so sweet, is I can put all the things in the past behind us. And, I'm just so happy and proud of the seniors that are leading this team, because they definitely deserve it. They've been through so much. Marquise and Landon and Romar, Smiley, and myself, the 5 fifth-year seniors that have been through, 3 head coaches. We came in when Butch Davis was here that summer, and we went to Coach Withers, and then now Coach Fedora. And it's just, it's kind of come full circle. So it's just been a fantastic ride, and I wouldn't change it for anything. But just the leadership that the senior class have showed, and really, carry this team through hard times. And to be in a position where we are now to win the AC championship, it's been a hell of a ride.
How do you explain the evolution of being a leader? Is that something you think about when you're younger, you're coming in as a freshman, sophomore? How does that kind of evolve? I know you have like a group text with a bunch of the guys like that. Like, how do you explain the 4 or 5-year-old that have kind of been the leaders this year, and how it's evolved over the last year or two?
Yeah, for me, it's been definitely a different journey. Starting out as a walk-on, my first goal is, when I get here, is get on the playing field, or get on the field and get some playing time, and gradually